Yep.
We're back. We're alive.
Powered by Riverside.
All right. College football show episode 10. We just got done week 7. We missed the week there. A lot of busyness going on in insurance. We won't get into all that. A lot of busyness going on in our lives here, but we're
Yeah.
back. We're going to recap what I think could be the craziest ever back-to-back weeks in college football regular season history. So we did miss a lot, but I'm sure we'll have a lot more to come. So we're just going to jump right into it. We's over there, PMAC here. Again, probably the craziest 2 weeks of college football, consecutive weeks in regular season history that I can ever remember. This many crazy games. We'll go over
Crazy.
them quickly, but unbelievable, unbelievable. So let's start off. So you'll take you 2 weeks back. We'll start off with the week 6 games. Started with Syracuse, UNLV Friday night, 44-41 Syracuse. Only reason I want to touch on that, this kid, LaQuint Allen. Syracuse was done. They had no shot. 4th and 1, he gets stopped in the backfield, gets the first down. Then they drive down, another 4th down, gets the first down, stopped in the backfield. Then the game-winning touchdown overtime. So LaQuint Allen, or should I call him Mike Trout, from Millville, New Jersey, the running back from Syracuse that saved the
Oh, I
game.
didn't know. Wow. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh,
So that's
maybe
just a
they. Yeah.
fun Friday teaser heading into the crazy
Oh,
Saturday.
you were all over that, and I was. I tracked it for that reason, even though I was losing. I had a huge lack of sleep from the week, but that was your game.
Yeah,
You called it. You had outright that all
big
week as
things to
your
win
pick,
that
and
one.
just in general, you really wanted that game.
Yeah. So again, we'll go over picks later. I got crushed that week. Steve got crushed that week. Weez did, but I did
Yeah.
have that Syracuse winning outright. They did. Now let's head into that Saturday. Started with Texas A&M over Missouri, 41-10. What else can you say except is Mike Elko got this team together. Their offense is good. Their defense is good. Maybe
I
they're a
did.
contender.
I did say they might really remember they'll remember that lost week 1, but that they've you know they've been strong. Has the schedule been awesome? No, but they've mowed everybody down, including Florida, Missouri, and they look as real as they need to be. Whether you think they're an impressive one-loss team or not, they're one of the few one-loss teams in the SEC, and really, all of the high teams in the country. And I did text you. I got to make fun of myself. I text you that I flipped my pick, even though it wasn't an official pick. That I had a feeling about Mizzou. I had a feeling about Mizzou prior to the game, about 5 minutes before, because I thought the backup for the year was going to be in. They were saying, and then the starter went, and that was what they were expecting. Wegman, that's what they were expecting him to be all along as a former 5-star. So awesome, but just very impressive. And that game was way more about A&M, and that's where they're at.
Simple as that. This was supposed to be the boring week, by the way, and then obviously that was a boring
Yeah.
game. A&M for real. Mizzou, one loss.
Well, it kind of flipped. You kind of thought after that, like, again, it's one game at Mizzou pretender and A&M, we differently than we thought they were coming in.
Yeah. And then let's just go down the list. The final 4 games, you're like, we're not going to get much to say. We'll just go in order of the games. I'll present to Vandy over Bama, 40-35. They never lost the lead, always had an answer. Diego Pavia, I think you were saying at the end, be aggressive to get this first down. With 3 minutes, 3 timeouts, Bama.
Yeah. You just see teams all the time kind of mopping in and be like, all right, let's just make sure we make the stop and not, give the ball up or make sure we waste enough clock. Like, I'll tell you what, Bama got the ball back. I don't care where they were, 100, and let's call it a minute and a half left. Everybody in the world thinks they're scoring there, and they probably do. So they had to end the game like that aggressively, and it's easier said than done. Doesn't happen a lot. That was awesome. And, hey, now we fast forward another week, and that team's 4-2. So, wow.
Yeah, and I'm all about playing let's get some off the clock. Let's not pass it on 3rd and 6.
Well,
Let's run
of
it
course,
for time. But
yeah.
you were right on that. For that situation, you have to get a first down. Can't lose like that. And then they carried the goalpost 3 miles to the
the river. That's awesome.
In Nashville. Yeah, unbelievable.
Who would have thought? I mean,
good for them. And then they took care of business. We won't really mention that. The last week's game wasn't a big game, but Vandy takes care of business again.
Yeah,
and
we won't touch too much more on that. So just a great Vandy run, obviously.
Unbelievable. So then we're like,
okay, we got
the crazy upset of the year, Vandy over Bama. That's the one game, the surprising game. The week still was a pretty bad slate. No. Then Minnesota beats USC 24-17. Unbelievable.
Yep. I mean, that kind of no business. I think Minnesota still have a struggle year, all in all. They just had a nice another win against UCLA. Looks good on paper, but hopefully enough to save uh, his job. But that was surprising. And fast forward
Yeah.
another week, you see where USC's at, and all those close losses.
Good
That's a team
for
that
him.
could possession away from being undefeated 3 straight times. But that was
Yeah, it's
awesome. And then
good for PJ Fleck, who has a good record for Minnesota.
exactly,
And
well,
real
tip
quick,
my
my
tongue.
note, I had the
Row the
wrong
boat,
notes.
Fleck.
Yeah, I had the wrong
Well,
notes. I said
uh,
15,000 traveled
we're
from
good.
Minnesota, but I was wrong. They traveled 15,000 fans. He got to travel last week to UCLA. We
To
won't touch on that
UCLA.
game, but 15,000
Yeah.
fans Minnesota to UCLA.
And again, not
Unbelievable.
to say those wings are big for him. Minnesota's the kind of program where, if he creates stability and has that, and they're good enough in a decent amount of years, then he can stay there a while. But he had to win a game like that. So he wins a game like that. They go beat UCLA, and they got a little high running. Again, this is more about USC losing that game, obviously.
Yeah. So, or USC. Yeah, USC losing that game. Yep. Yep.
USC,
Lincoln
sorry.
Riley. Yep. Again, just, Lincoln Riley's almost just like, you could tell in his face, just like, you thought he was going to lose when you looked at him. Just like he's going to play it off like, all right, we're still building it. You had to,
Well,
had to keep your
I know all OU fans think that way, but
Yep,
maybe
all
it's
right,
in his
we're out
head.
with
He's
it.
beginning to think that way, that they don't win
We're
close
happy with it.
games. If
So
it
then the
continues
day,
to
okay,
happen
we
to
got
you, you
another.
start to believe it.
Yeah. So then, okay, the day's over. We had another upset. No. Then Arkansas beats Tennessee 19-14 down to the end. Unbelievable. I'm trying to remember what even happened in that game, but Arkansas.
Well, Tennessee made that run to go up, and you're like, okay, bad half. Obviously, you're down 3-0. Okay, 14-3, third quarter. Arkansas keep it maybe close, but they're not going to give
Right.
up that lead. Yeah, I
Sure,
opened
sure.
up, I dozed off for a second, opened it up, 19-14. They held them at the end. Oh my gosh, just another piece of the puzzle for the week. Really awesome, really good surprise.
So completely surprising week. Unbelievable. Then you're sitting there. You're like, how does all this happen? I'm sitting there, I guess Central Time in Chicago. I'm sitting there 1 a.m. Central, and there's a comeback brewing. Miami's down 35, same week, 35-10 to Cal in the third quarter. And Cam Ward leads them all the way back on a 29-3 run to beat Cal
When was that?
39-38.
I could be wrong. I thought it was a 10:30. I'll call it tip off. Obviously, 10:30 game. Correct. 10:30.
I think there was like a delay, or it just went so long. But it was anyway. It
Yeah.
ended.
No.
It ended by two
Well,
2:30 Eastern.
I had woken up at 2:22. I think you texted me around midnight. I had opened up at 2:22. Minute and a half left. They're down one, and I'm like, what is going on right now? But they're
Unbelievable.
down a possession, obviously. 6.
Yeah, you can't make it up.
Amazing.
So again,
Yeah.
Cam Ward still has to remain pretty high on Heisman. He's not killing it in stats, but unbelievable comeback, and
No,
what a
I know
way
what will
to end
kill it
that
is
week.
being an undefeated team in the modern era. That's all that matters for a lot of people, especially if you're slinging it around, even if it's seen some early problems. But they're scoring points. I mean, who cares if you go 38, 39 points in a
Yeah,
comeback? They'll all your sins are forgiven in college football. They're not really looking at the picks as much.
yeah. So what a crazy way to end that week 6, which we thought was going to be the nothing week, but it ended up being unbelievable. So
Every week's
now
giving us something.
now we'll move into last week 7. This is the slate everyone was. This is the slate. Oregon, Ohio State, OU, Texas, Penn State, USC, still Tennessee, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss. Even
Crazy.
for fun, Kansas State, Colorado. This was supposed to be the week, but then we thought there's no way it could top last week. No way, because you don't get 5 crazy games like that ranked teams, and it did. Absolutely crazy. I'll go over in order here. By the way, so Liberty wins in overtime on Friday. Not that it was a crazy game. And then Arizona beats 16th Utah on Friday. The Friday night games are awesome because they're games now. We're getting games on Friday night, which is pretty cool. We're getting some
Well, it's not
decent
pretty
games
cool.
on
It's a
Friday
great
night.
prequel. Yeah, I don't watch as much
Usually doesn't
now as
happen
I used
until
to be glued to
Thanksgiving.
all of
Yeah.
them. Yeah, no, they're awesome. And
But we're getting some big matchups. Nebraska's playing on Friday night. Like
absolutely.
usually Thanksgiving you'll get Washington, but now we're getting some cool games. So that led into the week. No way it's gonna be better than week 6. And boy did it deliver. Or you got to be kidding. And it didn't deliver early. There was no. Oh, so I'm sorry. There was one noon game. We're like, you never know, Bama. South Carolina,
Yeah,
very
that
talented
took the
football team.
place of OU Texas in terms of the lineups for the day. I showed up to,
Yeah,
6:20. about halfway through the early in the fourth quarter, and I was obviously watching the whole thing on the road. And
Right,
yeah,
because
you
it
just
wasn't
show up
supposed to
and
be. It was
want to
supposed to
bounce back
start
in.
at 3:30 the day, 3:30 Eastern day supposed to start. But you roll in. Bama has the lead, 10-0 early. South Carolina gets back into it, scores 10 with a crazy ending of the first. It scores 9. The safety. Oh, sorry, the safety,
Awesome.
the field goal, the touchdown, 12-10, unbelievable. Then Bama takes the lead back. South Carolina, there's no way they have a shot. They're down 2 scores. They score at the end. And I was telling some of our founders, I haven't seen a successful onside kick in
Yeah, you're
5
right.
years. And they get an
I feel like
onside
it,
kick.
yeah, because it hasn't happened. Yeah, exactly. Amazing.
And they get an onside kick. And then what do
Outside
they
kick.
need?
It's a
15 yards?
shame how they squandered it. Of course, when they were
Yep.
making big plays when they had to down the stretch all game, and they got to a 3rd and 15, chucked it up, and that was it. But
It's just
still
like the
made for a
Bama
great
way. Like
game.
Bama, they'll find a way to win. Bama finds a way to
Still made
win
for a great
somehow.
game. Plus, South Carolina traveled well. I mean, their crowd is awesome. Pop's always said it for not being a great program. Their crowd's always been great, and they traveled, and it almost felt like home at one point for them there. So, game was amazing for a noon game. Putting Bama back on the line. I mean, at least Bama's going to be tested. You can say that. But again, the depth of the SEC shows through. I don't know where they're going to end up or be, but South Carolina might be the 11th best team, 12th best team in the SEC by the time it's all said and done. Obviously, it could be worse. Probably won't be much better, but that's a good ball club. You know what I mean? So the depth of this league really is showing out week to week too, which is amazing because a lot of these games, Bama's in, Tennessee's in. It's great.
Yep. So Bama survives, and then we head into OU Texas. We're all pumped up. Kind of knew from the start. Well, the start was great. OU played amazing defense, and just Hawkins is. Don't think he's the guy right now. They want him to be the guy. Arnold didn't really, he had some turnovers early in the year. They're not going to win the game if they put him in, but at least maybe they can move the ball. Top five receivers out for OU. Not much you can do. It's a shame because that defense is playing unbelievable this year.
Yeah.
Just a tough one, 34-3 Texas. Look past it.
Yeah, and then and then they started to look sloppy there. It was a shame for them on the D, but you have to move the ball. You can have a good defense and not be the thing of your team, but they're not moving the ball. It's ugly, and it really, we always look at quarterback, which that's the thing to do, but the line's getting exposed up front like it did against Tennessee. And Texas has a really good defensive front, just as Tennessee did. And again, I think this game is more about Tennessee. Texas is good. I don't know if he's doubting that. I don't know how stinking good. I don't think they're one in the country.
We'll get to that in a second.
Good.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But then Penn State, USC. Penn State wins in OT. Comes back from 20-6 down. You feel it all along once they scored. That kid had 17 catches.
And you look at that schedule now. Yeah, and to look ahead, you look at that schedule, and you're like, we stole that game. We stole that game. Looking back, it wouldn't be a great loss, especially if USC has 5 of them or 6 based on their schedule. You stole it. You look at the path ahead, and again, maybe a cop out, but even if you lose 2, you look solidly in for Penn State. So maybe one of the early teams that really looks ahead and thinks in our mind, they're a team that's in. They're in the playoff.
So Penn State.
We're going to start making statements like that because you
win.
probably hate that, but that's the way that's the way I'm going to project it. That team's in. Now we'll see how far they can go in all that and see if they blow it. But I don't, they haven't lost a game in the last 2.5 years now that wasn't against Michigan or Ohio State. So I don't see them losing 3 now with, I guess, 6 to go.
Yeah, I wish we'd talk about that one. But Penn State, unbelievable clutch performance there and just almost got themselves into the playoffs. Moving on, Tennessee, Florida. Florida defense played their best game in years, in a couple of years.
Yeah, in years.
And,
maybe a struggling Tennessee offense a little bit since OU, but still at home in a rivalry game where Tennessee's won 3 out of the last 20 and hurting for a win even there. Even if don't even give me the whole, we didn't really underestimate it and whatever the spread was, 14 at game time or 17 at the start of the week. Florida traveled great. Defense played awesome. Every time we looked up and they were looking to maybe go down, there'd be a 3 and out. So incredible. Then if I can jump in, you point to what's that?
Anybody get hurt that game?
Yeah, exactly. Well, right before that, end of the first half, we were saying this is what Florida does this year. Bonehead stuff, really. This one, not on the coach for once, but the first one was they had they had a football to go, and they decided to do an end around. If you're a football guy and you decide an end around on 4th and 1 is the play when you're trying to step on your rival's throat, I guess go for it, win or lose like that. I thought it was a horrible call. Then they get the ball back to go up 10-0. again, another opportunity on the one. Mertz is a gamer. It's a QB sneak pretty much. He goes to the right, review, loses the ball. It's a human error. It happens. But
Yep.
that bit
Tough
them.
for
So
Florida.
going
They
to
fought
halftime.
hard. Tough for Florida. Big
Yeah.
underdogs. Almost
Mertz
had
gets
it.
hurt. Mertz gets hurt. Essentially, college football wise, he's done. Hopefully, he can land something. I think he's definitely at least a third quarterback in the pros, if not a
Florida
second.
could have been a top. Could have been ranked 25 if they win that game. But let's move on
Exactly,
now.
yeah.
LSU at Ole Miss. Here we go again. The
Wow,
night's about over. Then you have
we've
LSU.
already
They're
had
all going on
enough.
at the same time. They're all going on
What
at
a
the same time.
sleeper.
LSU Ole Miss 29-26
Yeah.
overtime.
Yeah, that 1 hour later we got
Nussmeier,
out of that.
clutch throws from Nussmeier, even
Oh,
though he made a couple
dude, that
errors.
kid, talk about just loving college football and watching a kid play. I freaking hate LSU so much. It's so underrated hate for LSU. It's easy to hate Tennessee.
I hate
Easy
that
to hate
whole
Georgia.
area, yeah.
I hate them as much as anybody, and I like watching that kid play football. I think he's a stud. He's a point and throw. He can move around. He's a little quicker than he looks. He's a gamer. He's big, and he willed that team back. They had some big drops. They had a review that almost killed them. They had a big 3rd and 10. I thought they were out of it. The kid slung. You had athletes all over the place, and you can see Lane Kiffin's face at the end, like, we lost this game. That's how it went down. Another reason not to be setting up for a field goal in overtime like Florida learned. So, yeah. Unbelievable. What a nightcap.
Unbelievable. More to get
to.
Crazy.
And that wasn't even it. Real quick, that wasn't even it. I got home with my son a little after 1 o'clock. Bad dad day, but we had fun. He watched on the couch as K-State came from behind late and beat the Buffaloes just for a little cherry on top.
So again, that was the nightcap. K-State beats Colorado. Amazing game. So if
Yep.
that wasn't enough, then there's another one playing at the same time. Oregon beats Ohio State 32-31. All this going at the same time.
Oh yeah, sorry to jump on that. Yeah. Sorry to jump on the most important game of the week, probably. Whatever.
Well, we didn't watch all of it because we had Florida. Then we're going back a little bit.
No, we were hitting back and forth. We definitely missed some details in that game. From what it sounds like and what we watched, Oregon got the win. Oregon made the big plays. They made the clutch ones. Besides giving up 2 2-point conversions, which you mentioned could come back to haunt them unless you're really scoring 55, 50, 60% of them. Almost does. And then the Ohio State turnover and the onside kick. So add all those things up. But then throw in the Brown thing, and you almost even if you're his friend, you can't make fun of him for that. It's a tough deal. He knew right when he slid that what he did, and that's how it ended. And listen, I'm sure Ohio State on the road with that crowd that late of a game, I'm sure they'd gladly line up against Oregon again, and I'm thinking they hope they do.
Yeah. So again, the craziest week.
Credit to Oregon. You give them credit.
Blowout. 7 big games. Texas, Oklahoma blowout. Other 6 down to the wire. All 1-score games. 5 of them within 3. 2 of them went to overtime. The craziest week in college football in the last a lot of years. Unbelievable week. Crazy, sets up a lot, but we'll see going forward. So let's move into the next week. We cover those. We'll talk more about those for games of the year and stuff later in the year. I wish we could talk about them more now, but we're going to move on. Unbelievable week 6 and 7. Can't ask for anything better in October. That was just classic college football, or the new classic college football with all this SEC. Unbelievable. All right, let's move on.
It's just deep and loaded, and we're getting a lot of games. Even though I always make the argument you're taking away from regular season. It's fighting back against that argument a little bit right now, and it helps that the games are really good. I think it does help that looking afterwards, you say, wow, it's not that this team's necessarily out now. It's just that other teams are back in, right? And we're getting great football, which makes for a combination of the two. So I'll always be a purist in terms of that, but we're getting games, and now we have matchups like this of Bama and Tennessee, and loser's still not done, but winner certainly is in the driver's seat for a spot. So.
Sure. And we won't talk about previewing these games. We're just going to get to the big 2. So this coming week, we got South Carolina, Oklahoma. Make or break season for both, not for really playoff contention. Obviously, there's a little chance, but make or break season.
The people at home are asking, how does that make it the big 2? No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
What big 2?
No, the big 2 game. We're talking big 2 game. I'm kidding. Do Florida and Oklahoma really deserve a whole lot is the point?
Yeah, exactly. We're going to go to the big
Our viewers have to realize the slight bias that we have to mention our team at least once a segment.
We're going to preview the big 2, but I'm just going to mention the other 5 that are going.
Okay.
So South Carolina,
this is one of the other 5.
They ain't the big
fair.
Miami at Louisville. Fair. Miami, big game for them. Louisville's getting 4.5. Nebraska at Indiana. I'll talk about this later in our picks. Hint. Indiana's given 6.5 at home, undefeated against ranked Nebraska. That should be a fun one. Michigan at Illinois. Illinois is getting 3. The battle of the still ranked teams, but no threat. Still ranked, no threat. LSU at Arkansas. Arkansas is getting 3. That's a big game. Can Arkansas, after their win over Tennessee, can they keep it going? Did they lose to Vandy last week, Arkansas? They sure did. They beat Tennessee. They lost this week.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still they're
Yeah,
a team
Vandy
that
scored too.
should be have 1 loss, but they have 3. Or they might have 2 losses. But anyway, they can beat they can compete with anyone, they can lose anyone, it seems like. And LSU, a big game on the road. This is a test. Solidify them in the top 7, 8 teams for sure. We'll see. All right. So the big games, Bama at Tennessee. Tennessee's getting 3 points, Bama by a field goal. Don't know what to think at all because both teams so vulnerable, but both teams 1 loss and still hanging on to a top 10 ranking, easy top 10. I don't know what to think about this one. I just can't wait to watch it, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about it next week. So
I think, yeah, I mean, we'll see because Alabama's D went back a couple weeks ago, totally continues to be exposed. Grant didn't give up the amount of points, but definitely the yards last week and all year against anybody formidable whatsoever. Tennessee, as much as I praised them and hated to do so, has really come back to reality in terms of the offense. Still love the line play. So
yeah,
it's early. Well, I guess won't give a pick if it's a pick. But I think they're gonna show up and be men in terms of this one, Tennessee. But again, you have Milroe, and the difference now, it's a full flip difference of Bama starting out and never playing the offense and getting Kiffin and guys in. It's completely flipped, and now you're seeing a Bama team that the only way they're hanging around and in is by scoring points, and that's how they're going to have to do it in this one. I don't see it being any different.
Milroe has a chance to get back in the Heisman race. Nico,
he's definitely been impressive
to be there as a freshman.
Yeah,
it should be a fun one. It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about it next week. We'll see what happens, and then we got Georgia at Texas. Texas given 5, home team spread whatever. This is going to be these might be the best 2 teams in college football. Maybe Ohio State, Oregon, maybe bad, but this is going to be crazy.
You can clip it. You can clip it if I'm wrong. You can clip it if I'm wrong. If you're Georgia or a Georgia fan, you see 5 and giving 5 after what they experienced against Bama. Oh my! And Texas coming off a throttling of their bitter rival, thinking they're on top of the world. I don't have to wait on this one, to pick or not. Give me Georgia all day. You want to go spread? Cool. I'll take the 5. That's an all day long. This is coming from a Gator fan. So I'm going to be pumped to watch that. I hate Georgia. I hate Texas, both in different ways. But, I mean, Georgia's got to be feeling great about just seeing that line and where Texas is at. So prove me wrong. That'd be great. But, right now, Georgia needs it. And Georgia needs it. Right? They can still get in with 3. We know that, and they have a tough schedule going forward. But they need it more than Texas. And I'll tell you right now, I don't know that if you're Texas at this point, without being pushed too far, and Ewers coming back and definitely struggling a little bit. I mean, you don't know what that game really was with how Oklahoma is. We'll see how they are at the end of the year, but it's not looking great right now. I'm not so sure that it's not horrible for Texas to lose a game like this. And of course, they don't want to. But I think this is the most hype. I think this is the biggest, most talented, biggest matchup in SEC history since Bama LSU maybe 13 years ago, including Bama Georgia. Obviously, Texas SEC. Now, this is the most talented, biggest matchup, even over Georgia. Bama. You can say it's awesome.
It's going to be unbelievable. So
it's going to be great.
I got a pick on that coming up in a second. Let's do these picks real quick. For last week, we went 2-1 the week each. We both had Oklahoma, Florida. We split. We won our other one. We lost our super pick. The week before, we were horrible. I was 0-3. You were 2-1. So that brings me to 8-6 on the year.
Horrible.
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take 8-6 any day. And brings Weeze to 6-5-2 on the year, over 500. So we're up and down every week. We either nail it or we don't.
But okay.
So this week what do you got for? You ready, or you want me to do mine first here?
No, I'm ready to roll. So I'm ready to roll. I'm going to steal your. I'm not. So are we going every other or going all three?
No, go your three, and I'll do my three. Then Super Dog.
All right.
Super
Well,
Pick.
if you're letting me lead off, then I got to steal your thunder a little bit. So I could. I mean, I've talked the other team up, but we were laughing about the spread. Nebraska getting 6.5 all day. That has to be in one of the top 3 picks. So I
Okay,
would
you want
see
them
you
for
picking
spread
that as
6.5?
well. Yep. And then also, again, I think an easy one. Maybe Vegas is playing me. I knocked Missouri, but they're back home. Auburn kind of stinks, even though they might be 14th in the SEC or 13th, but that's still in the SEC. But Missouri plays there too. Give me Missouri, giving 4.5. And then I had my other one. Oh yeah, you know what? This is really weird. I normally wouldn't do this in a close
You got
spread game like that.
Missouri giving 4.5. You said I'm going to put it in here in our
Missouri
thing.
giving four and a
Put it
half.
on the record. Okay.
Yep. And then I'm also going to. I can't roll back with my other squad, so I got to give up on Arizona. I know it's not my dog pick. I can't pick it as that, but I'll take Bama getting 3. That's not my outright. I'll just take
Bama
Bama
plus
getting
3,
3.
and we're doing it where we
Or, sorry,
can't.
did I say Alabama?
We did.
I meant Tennessee because Tennessee's getting 3.
Tennessee at home
And
getting 3.
that,
Okay.
and that is
And
what I will take there.
We're not gonna match a super pick with our spreads. Is that all right with you? You got a separate one for
Yeah,
that?
of course. You can never match it. You can never get the extra points.
Okay. Because
So.
I got for my picks. I got Georgia just getting 5 against Texas. I think Texas could win. I think Texas is a tiny bit better, but give me 5 points. It might go down the wire by 3. Give me Georgia plus 5. I got Kansas State at West Virginia. I think Kansas State is for real. -3 at West Virginia. I don't know how they lost 38-9
Good call.
to
I think I
BYU.
like your picks better than
BYU is
mine.
a really good team, but they have to. They're getting close in games. At one point, they're going to falter. They're at Kansas State. And I got Oklahoma State plus 9.5 at BYU. Speaking of BYU, has to have some kind of letdown eventually. Might not lose the game, but I'll take Oklahoma State at 9.5. Gundy.
You're not used to
I've
seeing
got
that
him so
line
high
for
right now, but
poor old Gundy. Yeah, just some pride there on
he,
the
he,
line, right?
he plays. His teams play good offense and play hard late in the year, no matter
Uh,
what. They could have 4 losses.
Listen,
there
I'm
for
with you. This is a make or break for them. I mean, this is what we're talking about with NIL to jump in, where you're talking respected, good programs that could have that kind of start with some injuries and the quarterback not figured out, that dump into 6-6 land, and you're like, we were supposed to be 10-2 in the Big 12 and maybe looking at a playoff berth, and now it's Nightmare City. I think this is the new norm of what you're going to see between year to year teams fluctuating more. You're not going to have 4 straight years of a team being dominant and winning 38 football games. So anyway, I think Oklahoma State is an example of that.
All right, and then we'll do our super dog, and then we got a 2-minute drill to
Super
recap
dog.
on before.
Super dog. I like
here.
this team. I love this team. Not the best results in the year, but still a good team and can score points. Give me Louisville as Miami's magic finally ends. They get down. They can't quite come back. I'll go Louisville outright.
Wow. I was tempted to pick Miami -4.5, but I was like, why? Yeah, so Louisville, they're getting 4.5, but you're taking them as an outright dog to win the game home against Miami. All right, good picks there. My super dog, super pick, whatever you want to call it, we'll come up with a name soon. I got Nebraska outright against Indiana. You got them with the spread.
You held it for that. Good.
Yeah, no, I originally, we'll see if,
like the outright, love the 6.5. So hopefully we'll both get that one.
I mean,
although Indiana good Indiana good story. Wouldn't it be amazing they do win that? They finally pick off a good team, a slightly solid team, and go to 7-0 would be. I mean, it's miraculous. Their schedule stinks. I got you, but they're winning the games ahead of them, and whatever.
I mean,
nobody's saying much about Penn State. Nobody's saying much about Penn State's schedule. So
yeah, I mean, you had Trump talking about the history of Nebraska football yesterday with Will Compton, linebacker from Barstool. He interviewed Trump, him and Busting with the Boys.
That's what I heard.
So,
I did not see
so he's talking Nebraska football. It was a wacky interview.
That's
funny,
awesome. But, I did not see
so
it.
maybe it's a little magic for Nebraska. We'll see. So
yeah.
All right, so that's our picks.
Yeah, life's good. College football is good when Nebraska's good. That's fine. So all about that.
All right, we got one more thing real quick, but first, so we got Steve or Weeze over there. Nebraska plus 6.5, Missouri -4.5, Tennessee +3, Louisville outright versus Miami. I got Georgia +5, Kansas State -3, Oklahoma State +9.5, Nebraska outright winner. All right, we'll move on. We got 2 minutes left here. We're just going to recap real quick how we did on. Let's give us a grade real quick. for how we did early on the year. So we ranked misery: Florida, Florida State, Mississippi State. I'm going to give us A minus because Florida's not misery. They've had some tough games, but Florida State, Mississippi State, you can't get worse. I think we did well.
Yeah, if you go
This
A
is
minus,
after
I'll
week
go
3.
B plus. Sure,
This
I'll
is
go
where we
B
put them
plus.
after
Sure,
week 3. Yep. Then
sure.
we got just bad teams. Nothing I really see in there that's Minnesota's okay. I think we did
All right,
pretty well. Any of those
we
teams
were
good?
a little off on one. I would say
But there's
maybe a
1,000 of
little
them. Yeah.
off on Colorado, but schedule still whatever. And Vandy, but all the rest of that crew, I would
It's an
say
A. Yeah.
bad,
That's an A
disappointing
minus.
years. If at
That's an
worst,
A.
yeah, great job. That's
That's
more
an A.
impressive
We
than the
killed
last
it.
one. That's more
That's
impressive
an
than the
A.
last. I might
That's an A.
no, that's
That's
an
an
A.
A.
That's an A.
That's
Not an
an
A
A.
plus. It's an A.
Average team. All right, SMU
Oof.
looks decent, but who knows? Just looking through
Good
here.
team.
None of these are obviously some of them are very bad. Duke's 5 and
I
1.
was
They're
gonna say,
average.
you know what's
Michigan's
funny?
average.
You know what's funny? You have some pretty good teams and some pretty bad teams. Do they even out to average? Do they
But
equal
Kentucky's
out
33. They're
being
still
average?
average, though. Yeah, that's average. I'll give us a
Yeah,
B. I'll give us a B
B
plus,
B plus B plus.
and then we'll move into
So
surprise
we're good
potential.
because
Let's see. No. Maybe Iowa
I
State. We
can't
had
see it.
Kansas State.
I don't know. I can't see it.
Oh, is it not up there?
It's not zoomed up for me. No big deal. It's okay.
No, there it is. See it? Do you see it up here?
I see it now. I see BC
Yeah.
as the top team, right? So
BC,
yeah.
Kansas State, Iowa
Surprise.
State for sure. Memphis, no. Michigan State, no. Not Notre Dame. Surprise being down. So no, I give us ourselves a C plus on that one.
The surprise potential on that one was good. With we were definitely surprised that North Carolina gave up 70 to JMU. So the surprise is there.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised for Notre Dame to be
And
bad.
surprised kept picking NC State, kept losing by 30
But it could
every
be
big game.
potential too. Yeah, I'll give us a C
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
there.
That was a weak one there. We stunk on that
Can
one.
you see the screen
Title
up here now?
contenders. Yeah, title. All right.
Playoff contenders. Boise State, sure. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Heisman contender and title contender. Missouri, I mean, they still are. We didn't get crushed on that. Ohio State, horrible. Penn State, for sure. Tennessee, for sure. Utah, horrible.
Well, they're all
Rivers,
contenders. They're all contenders except for Utah. I don't know. Wow, I skipped over Ohio State. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that takes us down to a B minus.
That's a rough one. Yeah, because what are you
minus.
realistically going to get? Let's be realistic. 1.5 there, right?
Yeah.
2 if you're lucky. You hopefully you get Penn State.
We'll
And
wrap
then,
up the show here. Let's see if we did okay on our title contenders. Bama, Miami, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Oregon, Texas, Georgia. If Ole Miss
Great
beat
besides
LSU,
Ole Miss.
We nailed it. If Ole Miss, I'll give ourselves an A that they all kept alive like that.
Yeah.
Not an A plus because Ole Miss, they still have a chance, but A or A minus, in between. A half.
Good
minus.
work. Our low ones were really
Awesome.
good, but good work.
Yeah. Anyway, that
Great
wraps it
job.
up for today, guys.
Phil,
we will get
PMAX
back. We're
first
trying
show
to do-
in New Jersey. PMAX first show in New Jersey.
Yep, we'll be here for a little bit, and we'll do once a week. We're probably gonna do a recap and a preview next week, all in one show. The following week, we're gonna do a I don't know what we're gonna be wearing. We're gonna do a little Halloween one, so it's gonna get a little wild in here. So we're gonna have some different things going on in 2 weeks.
Pumped.
So
Great
thanks
job.
for
Way to put
tuning
that
in.
together.
We'll try to clip some things to try to rile some people up eventually on this thing. Right now, we're just putting out a little thing, and you can
Putting out
see
some
it from
content and
later.
enjoying it. Enjoying what we're doing for now. So thanks,
Yep,
guys.
so go Mets. I think they're out of the first inning. I didn't see what channel is the Mets on. Any idea?
Mets
I'd love
are
to know
on FS1.
FS1. Here we go. Go Mets. We got
Let's
Subway
go,
Series
Mets.
will be phenomenal.
Powered by
Be great for
Riverside.
baseball.
All right. Happy fall.
Yeah.
All right. Don't know how to end it.